I would go so far as to say there is nothing more valuable in life than quality time spent with the people that we love. And today we're about to meet an adventurous mother who gave up a life in the city, moved to the woods, built a tiny house, all to find a better life for her and her daughter.
I'm Megan. I live in southern Vermont in a tiny house. My daughter and I chose to live in a tiny house because we just wanted a different way of life. We lived in Connecticut and we had a pretty standard house, pretty standard life, and we decided to give it all up to live in the middle of nowhere in the woods. So back in Connecticut, our home was just over 3,000 square feet. And now our home is 350 square feet. So it's way different. With having a bigger house like we had in Connecticut, you have a mortgage, you have that monthly payment, and you have to make it every single month. So hand in hand, you have to work to pay that. And I still work just not as much as I used to. And I don't have that same type of job that I used to, but I have more time with my daughter. And that to me is priceless. These are years I will never get back. And when I look back, I've lost a lot of years with her working my butt off and being away and staying in hotels and traveling and doing it for work. And I loved it and I loved what I do, but I didn't have that quality time with my daughter. And here I have that quality time with my daughter. So if it means we have to live in a smaller house to be able to spend that time together, we will live in a tiny house. We're always super close, but now it's just on a whole new level, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Hi, my name is Sloane, and this is my mom, and we live in this tiny house. Hi, guys.
We've lived in the tiny house for about 6 months now, and we still have a lot more progress to be made, but we've gone a lot of ways since we've been here. So previously our house was on about, just under an acre. And our neighbors were literally the windows. We were looking into their kitchen while they were looking into our kitchen. So curtains were a necessity the day you move in. Honestly, having that serenity and just having our own peaceful environment was like a huge part of it for us. Was we really wanted land. So if we were going to settle on a smaller home and going tiny, we wanted a lot of land and we wanted a lot of our own space so that we really could enjoy the outdoors, which we have here. We have an amazing walking trail down back, which has a ravine that comes off a gorgeous lake right down the street. We have the vast trail systems, which for the snowmobiling, it's amazing. We can ride our side-by-side around here and have fun and play outside and scream and dance and go crazy, and no one hears us besides the animals in the woods. So my daughter is 6 years old and she just picked up skiing, so we're really excited about that. And I've snowboarded since I was young. I don't even remember when I started, but now I'm going to pick up skiing, so we'll see how that goes. So we have Magic Mountain that you can see right through our trees, which is really pretty to look at every single day. And we also have Bromley, which is in the far distance, and Stratton Mountain, which is a little bit further, but you can see because it's a huge mountain. So driving even to the grocery store, these views are incredible. And our backyard, just looking over and seeing Magic Mountain is amazing. So living in a tiny house in southern Vermont definitely has its challenges for sure. Our water is froze. I can't even tell you how many times we've come up with numerous water systems. We have pipe problems constantly, but it's our first year here in Vermont, and everyone always says your first year in Vermont is no other, and you will have to rethink everything that you've done and reevaluate come the springtime and redo things. And it's just the way of life. And it's been challenging, but it's been so fun. And as you can see, it's beautiful. So we'll take on the challenges for the view that we have every single day. Why don't we go inside and check it out? This is our snow room, as we call it. We lived in this house before the winter months hit, and then when winter hit, we realized that we quickly needed a space for our jackets and our boots.
So this is our couch. This is our small TV. We have a little drawer.
This is Sloane's art cabinet, which we needed to figure out a place that she could be creative and still kind of keep it in a confined space. So we found this really cool cabinet. It drops down, it actually turns into a table. And then she has all her essential crafting needs. So that's her little space. So our coat closet has changed a little bit. It used to be pretty big. Now it's kind of small, but we have all of our coats that aren't our winter jackets in here. So we have tons of storage compartments for all our different needs in these. And it also gives Sloane her handy stairs to get up to her bedroom without utilizing a ladder.
And we have our dining room table, and we have some storage under here.
So this is our dining room, which used to consist of 8 chairs and now is 2, but they're 2 cozy chairs. And it also is my workspace. It also is everything else that we need a table for. So these are our 2 sets of stairs up to Sloane's loft and then my loft. This was essential for me. A lot of tiny houses only have ladders that they utilize to get up to the lofts. And for me, I really needed a full set of steps. Yeah, so this is our storage step underneath too, which is really handy. We have like our paper goods and stuff underneath here, but you actually pull it out and it turns into a step to get up to the loft. But also sometimes we utilize it for even a seat. If we need an extra seat, somebody can sit there and put their feet there. So there's multiple uses for pretty much everything in this house. So when we found this house, the reason why we loved it so much, it was because of the steps. Sloane is still little, and I wanted her to be able to come to my room in the middle of the night and not have to worry about a ladder. But that for me was the selling point. I had went to 3 different designers of tiny homes, and I said, I really need this build out. What would be your time frame for this build out? And they were on a 9-month turnaround, some of them even a 1.5 years. So I was like, okay, that's not an option for a brand new one. Our house sold so quick, so we needed to get something immediately. And I needed to find land and get it there and then worry about everything else that went along with it. So I'm like, we don't have time to try to build anything really besides the outside structures that are not a necessity. So I went back to the used ones again. And the one that we particularly found hadn't been that used. She only had been in it for a little while. And we could tweak it to make it work for us.
Now I'm going to show you my room. This is my room, and I have my bed right here, my books, and my Moosey, but my dog ate the hat. And this is my bear picture. This is my bathrobe, and this is my cute little desk, my 2 stuffies. This is Cookie, this is Nico. And sometimes they like to hang out with each other. This is my big window, and I have little pom-poms.
So now we're going to go up to my bedroom. All right, so here's my bedroom. It's comfy, it's cozy. You definitely cannot stand in it, but it's no problem. It works for what we need. So we have clothes storage in these bins, some cubby holes, a hanging closet. I have a cool chest underneath. My bed's super comfy. I have my TV if I need it and some amazing windows to take in all these views. And so we utilize a mini split for our cooling and our heating. We find here in Vermont that we definitely need an alternate heating source as well. So we do have a separate heater that we plug in on really, really cold nights or really, really cold days. Like when it's 12 below, we need a little extra boost in the system. So we have tons of storage space in our kitchen, dining room area. It really doesn't feel like we need any more space. So we have our hanging shelves that I made from black walnut. They'll get finished and polyed. And our plates and our cups. And this is our stovetop. We went with a 2-burner stove. It's really all we need to cook and do what we need to do. And we have a little oven that we store in here that we take out and put on the countertop when need be.
This is our fridge, and this is our freezer, and here's the bathroom. This is our compost toilet, and we have little wallpaper.
We have our small shower, just stand up alone, which is fine for what we need. We have our little sink, which is pretty unique design. They turned it on its side, and a little storage mirror right behind. The problem with this house was it was in Virginia and we were in Connecticut and we were moving to Vermont. So I was like, Virginia's a little bit out of our way. And obviously we're going to have to tow it, or we're going to have to find a company to tow it. And I just didn't want to have somebody tow my house and give them that responsibility of, okay, if I'm going to pay for this, here's my life and my daughter's life in your hands, and go pick up our house. And so, nope, we did it ourselves. So the lady told us we had to come get it that weekend or she was going to move on to somebody else. So when we went to the woman's house to pick up the tiny house, we hooked it up to the back of the truck.
And we found out that it was stuck in the mud.
It was beyond stuck in the mud. It was past the trailer stuck in the mud, and we needed to figure this out. We thought it was going to be a cute photo op opportunity. We were all dressed up cute, ready to take photos all together, start our new way of life, and that's kind of what it turned into, because it's prepared me for what I deal with today on our land.
And me and Ellie were so bored we wanted to go and play in the pool.
Yeah, waiting for us. We were there unsticking the house from the mud for 8.5 hours. Finally, we got it after we put my dad's truck attached to another truck and both pulled away and finally got the house unstuck. Then we still had a 17-hour drive home the next day to get it from Virginia to Connecticut. Towing the small things that I've towed, it's no big deal. Like, I can do that, no problem. My nerves were shot. I'm never a nervous person. And that I was a nervous person the entire way. When we first got here, we didn't even have the house here yet when we got the land, but we did have the sheds, and me and my best friend and our 2 daughters, we slept in the shed the first night that we ever were here just to enjoy the land and have fun. And now having the house, if we have guests come over, they have the couch to sleep on, or sometimes they'll sleep in Sloane's room and she'll sleep with me. But eventually we will have space for other people to come enjoy our property too, so they can stay over. Because it is a little tight in there, but we make it happen. So the tiny house cost $50,000, well, just about $50,000. And I was able to do this without taking out a mortgage. I really wanted to take my profits from my home from the years that I lived in it and take those profits and really buy something that I wasn't going to have those high mortgage payments. So me and my daughter really could do this and spend more time on the land rather than spending all our hours in the day working. We still work. It's just a different way and not as many hours as I used to. But this allowed me to do that. So we were able to afford the land and the home with my profit from my house. We try to get outside as much as we possibly can, but back home it was definitely different because you add hours to that type of to drive to go check out new places. And here there's uncharted territory right in our backyard. We can go out on our own acres and check it out and find new things all the time. So the Vermont way of life is very cool and unique in the sense of your neighbors. So you have people right next to you, but not right next to you. So they can be 10 acres away from you, but they are still your next door neighbor, and they are happy to help at any given time. And I grew up in an area and started to raise Sloane in an area that our houses were right next to each other, and you knew each other, but not necessarily hung out every day or helped each other out if you needed something, because you might have not had those things to be done. You didn't have to feed the wood stove. You didn't have to keep the house warm from the pipes freezing all the time. You didn't have all these things like getting a side-by-side stuck or a truck stuck or a house stuck. So it's definitely a cool aspect. They're not right on top of you, but they are right there for you. Our quality of life is definitely, to be honest with you, it's better. We love it. We're smiling more. We're happy more. We still do all the same things that we used to do, right? Like when we're cooking, we're still dancing, still playing music. Just now all the bears can hear our music. We still are able to watch movies in the house. We still have the things that we love to do, but we just do it in our tiny house now. And it's just the 2 of us. So it really allows us to spend all that quality time together. Our general rule is in this house, and the way of life is don't ever say I can't, because that just means you don't want to. I think anybody can do anything. And this was something that I wanted to try, and I didn't know it was going to work for us. It might not work for us at one point in time. I hope it still does, but it might not. Let's go for it. Let's see what happens. And if you don't try something, you're You're never gonna know if it would work for you, if you would love it. And we love it, it works.
Megan and Sloane are building such a beautiful life together. Downsizing into a tiny home has given them the ability to have now both their home and their land now completely mortgage-free, which just gives them so much security and so many options for the future. I think Megan really said it best when she said that these are years with her daughter that she is never going to get back. And it is so wonderful to see them both now truly living life to the fullest.